What's up, my Boogie Woogie friends? Welcome to another lesson. Today is gonna be a super important lesson for you because I'm gonna teach you the three most essential bass lines that you have to learn early on in your Boogie Woogie journey. We're gonna go step by step for each of them, and by the end of the lesson you're gonna have that rolling train engine-like sound in that left hand that stops for no one. You can then add awesome right hand licks onto it afterwards. Because in Boogie Woogie it's crucial to start with the bass line and get that correct under your fingers before you can think about adding the right hand. And I'm also going to show you one secret to spice the bass line up and make it easier and faster and just way more comfortable to play for each of the bass lines. So one secret for each of these bass lines I'm about to show you. And then near the end I'm going to also guide you in how you can then play your right hand onto the bass lines so you can sound impressive fast. Because there's actually a secret method to play your right hand onto a bass line in Boogie Woogie that most students never learn. So I hope you're excited. Let's jump into bass line pattern number 1. Here's the first bass line we're learning. This is the classic Boogie Woogie bass line. This is also used in Swanee River and Boogie Woogie Stomp and other famous Boogie Woogie songs. So we're gonna start by playing this bass line from the key of C. Alright? We're gonna put the C twice, that's our bass. Then we're gonna add an E with the third finger, back to C, up to G, back down to C, then up to A, and then finishing on G. That's one block of the bass line, and I want you to view the bass line as individual blocks, otherwise known as a bar or a measure. So repeat this with me in the exact fingering that I'm showing you. It's important that you use your thumb on the G when you reach that note, because if you use your second finger you will tense up more because you have a larger hand span that you're working with. We don't want that. Use your first finger on the G. Da, 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 da. And then the second time you hit the G, that's where you use your second finger. So as you can see, there's 8 notes in this bass line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we repeat those over and over. Very nice. Now we're gonna play the same pattern but starting from a different note. We're gonna start on F instead of C. We're gonna play the exact same pattern, so your hand shape and fingers don't change, just the notes change. This is the power of thinking in shapes instead of individual notes. And then we're gonna move one key up again. We're gonna play the same pattern from G. Fantastic. So that's the 3 positions that we're playing our bass line in. So now that we have our bass line positions, we're gonna apply the 12-bar blues progression to it. That just means we're following this harmony of music. 4 bars on C. That's the first bar. Second bar. Third bar. Fourth bar. Now we move up to F. 5th bar. 6th bar. Back down to C. 7th bar. And 8th bar. Then to G for the 9th and 10th. And then 11 and 12. We finish on C. Make sure you shake your hand out to release tension. You don't want to be stiff and playing this. And make sure you're keeping the swing rhythm. Now follow this progression for a couple more times and then you have your first bass line done. You can just loop this progression with this bass line nice and slow through the 12-bar blues progression here. And if you want to print out this progression, I have this in a cheat sheet, a 30-page PDF. It's free. It's the ultimate Boogie Woogie cheat sheet. You can download that in the link in the description. You can print it out and you can follow it right in front of you. I suggest you do that. Now before we move on to bassline number 2, here's the secret I want to show you for this bassline. To make your transitions easier, you can actually jump onto the 5th of the chord that you're jumping to. So from C, you we're gonna substitute the last note, the G, for a C, which is the fifth of the F chord, which was where we're gonna play the bass line next. So on bar 4, we're jumping up to C and substituting that last G for the C note. Then we play a bass line from here, and then we're gonna do the same thing, jumping down to the fifth of the C chord, substituting the last F bass line note for that one. Same thing for the G. Back down. I'll do it one more time for you. C to F. Back down. Back to F. Back to C. Down to G this time. Up to C. This will allow for a different sound, and also it's once you put in the work and learn this, it's actually gonna make the transitions a little smoother and easier, but it's optional. You can just go for the standard classic version. Great job so far. Now we're gonna learn our next bass line, which is gonna be a little bit of a slower bass line. This is more commonly used in blues. So think of the first bass line as the classic barrel house boogie bass line, when the people who founded this music were just jamming out on pianos, often in slave camps, and they were just playing their hearts out with no technique. They were going for it like a train that never stops. This next bass line is more like a smooth, smoky jazz bar where there's a blues pianist and a blues singer and someone's having a cigarette and drinking a whiskey. This is the blues shuffle. It goes like this. So for this bass line, we only need two notes that are different. So we're gonna play the C and G together, and then we're gonna play the C and A together. And we're gonna do each of these positions twice. But our shape is just this shape again from C here, right? Up to the A. The second time you're hitting it should be the louder one. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now we're simply gonna follow the same 12-bar blues progression. This is on F, back to C, up to G, down to F, and then I added a little turnaround there, which you can do as well. I'll show you that. So yeah, that was the blues shuffle. As you can see, it's a slower tempo. It gives you a little bit more control. And also for these slower tempos, it's common to not be on the G chord for 2 bars, but rather for 1 bar, and then move down to the F chord for 1 bar. So we're substituting the 10th bar from the G, how we learned it from the last bass line, for the F, right? So we go 9th bar on G, and then 10th bar on F. And then 11th bar is gonna be on C, and then 12th bar as well, but only the half if you want to do the turnaround. 2 and 3 and 4 and now we enter 12th bar. 1 and 2, who and 3 and 4 and 1, and then we start over. I'll do that again for you. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 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 and 2 and 3. So you can loop that section if you want to learn that turnaround, which is a really cool sound. But that is the blues shuffle. Congratulations, you're doing great so far. So rewind the section if you want to learn this one, where I played through the 12-bar blues. And once you got the fingering and the notes correct, you can just do it yourself every day through the 12-bar blues. Now here's the secret for this bass line to make it greater, spice it up a little, which is gonna be a little substitution again. So the last beat of each bar, or especially the bars where you're switching to a new chord. So from C, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I'm doing a chromatic little instance above the chord I'm switching to, with the same shape as the bass line that we're playing. So it's 5 and 2 fingering, dropping down to 5 and 2. And then I'm on beat 1. And I'm doing this on the 4 and, so the beat right before switching to F. So I'm again substituting that last beat. Instead of playing the C and A one more time and then switching to F, I'm playing the C and A one time and then playing that F sharp, C sharp right above the position I'm dropping to. You can just, if you don't know note names, you can just look at the keys right above the F position and you keep your shape the exact same. Check out my hand. The shape is not changing of my hand. It's the same shape. It's very important you learn that way. And yeah, then you can do it from F down to C and up to G as well. Down to F, down to C. Excuse me, that was my mistake. But you don't have to do it all the time, of course, just here and there to spice things up. Congratulations, great work so far. Remember to print out the 12-bar blues progression and stick it in front of your piano to have an easier time actually practicing these bass lines. And now we're going to work on the third bass line, which is the walking bass. This is a super, super cool bass line. I'm going to show you a simple version, but I'll play you the advanced version. So. Yeah, so that's the sound of it. Of course, that's an advanced version, and I'm gonna show you the basic beginner version. You can get started with it right away. Let's jump into it. So the notes that we're playing: C, E, G, A, B flat, A, G, E, C. This is a 2-bar bass line. So one bass line cycle is 2 bars long instead of 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, because you're only playing on the on beats. The and notes are empty. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. Fingering wise, I would like you to do the 5th, 3rd, 1st. Then you grab over with your 3rd. You play the 2nd on the B flat. Back down with your 3rd. And then under with your thumb. It's a little tricky. Take some time to really learn the correct fingering. It will pay off long term, trust me. You don't want to learn the wrong fingering. So grab over, 3rd finger, 2nd finger up here, B flat, back down, and then you walk back down. You do the same thing on F. Exact same pattern, just from a different starting point. And then same thing from G. Very good. Then you take it through the 12 bar blues. First bar and second bar, third bar, fourth bar, fifth bar, sixth bar, seventh bar, eighth bar, 9, 10, and 11 and 12. Good job. That's the section you have to loop and work with to get that under your fingers. You can also slow the speed of the video down in the bottom right corner, by the way. And here's the secret to spice up this bass line. Check it out. What was I doing there? So I was basically doing a walk up onto a turnaround and then back up to bar number 1. So from bar number 11, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so I'm not following the normal bassline pattern. I'm going C, E, F, F sharp, and then G, all right? And from G I'm walking up to the C. And then from here I'm continuing the bassline pattern as normal, because this is beat 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and then I'm back in my shape, right? Do that one more time. Coming from G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That was beat 1 there, right? So you have a really nice cadence. You're just walking up all the way. Sounds pretty badass, if you ask me. Congratulations, you just learned 3 bass lines. Of course, you didn't learn them fully yet, because now it's your turn to practice this. You can do this easy peasy with the cheat sheet I mentioned earlier, if you haven't grabbed that yet, just because it has a few shapes and patterns, some info about getting started with Boogie, and the 12 bar blues progression, of course. It's really important you practice these solo. That's why this video has no right hand riffs yet, nothing else, just the bass lines for you to copy paste exactly how I taught them. But before you go practice this, I promised you one secret about hand independence, playing both hands together, which is something that you're gonna be doing very, very soon once you've put in a little bit of work here, learned these 3 awesome, badass sounding bass lines, which is where you should start with as a boogie woogie player. So hand independence, what is it? How is it built? Hand independence is simply the act of playing both hands together, specifically in 2 different rhythms. That's what creates the challenge, not the notes being different. Everyone can do this, where we're all playing the notes together, but playing the rhythmic differences in both hands, that is the challenge of hand independence. And let me tell you, after teaching thousands of students boogie woogie piano, hand independence is the biggest killer of a student's success, and also their motivation and their dream, their goal of becoming a great boogie woogie player. That is in the way, right? And it stops so many students. It makes a lot of students give up to the point of frustration. It's just too much, and motivation is draining every day because they can't get past this beginner challenge, right? And they can never move on to the really fun stuff because the hand independence always holds them back. So if this happened to you, you are not alone in that. Just know that. That's everyone, literally everyone, me included. But the good news is there is a fix for this issue, and the fix is literally quite simple, where you need the right exercises in the right order in a micro step approach. But how is hand independence even built? Why do we need specific exercises to build hand independence? Hand independence is built when you shift your focus from your bass line away from something else. Like when I'm talking and playing, that is challenging my hand independence. If I'm playing both hands and talking, that's really hard. The only reason I'm able to do this is because I failed at exactly that a bunch of times, because I'm shifting my focus to my, what am I saying? Back bassline. What am I saying? Back to bassline. What am I saying? Back to bassline. And that trains your hand independence. So that's really valuable to know. It's not just spamming stuff on the keyboard and hoping someday it clicks. It's these micro shifts. And you have to vary these shifts, make a big variety of exercises where you're shifting your focus onto other things, doing other things with your right hand before even playing on the keyboard, right? And all of these exercises are in the 5-day Hand of God challenge, because I made a free course on exactly this issue. Will fix your hand independence and just make you progress way faster with it. It's the first link in the description, so that's your logical next steps. While you practice all of these bass lines, you work through those 5 days in the free 5-day Hand of God challenge, the free course that I made for you. You get one new little mini exercise, 5 minutes max per email every day. And then at the end of those 5 days, then you can actually add cool stuff onto this bass line right on the right hand. So I have a bunch of lessons where I'm teaching some riffs, but you really need the bass lines first, and you need a good variety of bass lines, and you need good hand independence. So sign up to that course below and practice this, rewind the video, rewatch this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.